You are watching The Awesome Sauce Show.
Hey everyone, I'm Kelsey Osborne.
And I'm Jeff Kolb, and you're watching The Awesome Sauce Show.
We're here serving up your daily dose of unpopular culture, and today we take you to the sci-fi spectacle of the year.
That's right, we're talking about New York City Comic-Con.
It was a total nerd fest at Manhattan Javits Center, and don't worry, we speak geek here on The Awesome Sauce Show, so we'll be able to give you the complete Comic-Con coverage. The sold-out event featured both Marvel and DC Comics. A single booth was not enough to capture all of the comic book craziness. Full floor shows were dedicated to Marvel and DC comic book, video game, and movie releases. Both DC and Marvel announced new superhero series spin-offs. Comic creations like Scarlet Spider and Batman Earth 1 have been launched in order to pull in new audiences.
The most highly anticipated movie release of Comic-Con was, of course, The Avengers. This action-packed superhero flick features Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and the Incredible Hulk. Other Marvel comic book character favorites include Nick Fury, Black Widow, and Secret Agent Maria Hill. It's up to superstars Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Mark Ruffalo to save the world from an invasion that's out of this world. The Avengers won't assemble on the silver screen till this summer, but the superheroes did make an appearance at this year's Comic-Con. In addition to holding a panel for the film, the Avengers team took part in a red carpet event, and our very own Brittany Berkowitz was there to catch up with the cast.
Avengers Assemble!
We all know these guys are as big as superheroes get. But the most massive thing about the Avengers is it's a movie jam-packed with powerful personalities.
Tony is modern day. Tony is in the future. He's Flash, his ego, he's the spotlight. I think Cap comes from a time where it's a little bit more selfless, a little bit more reserved and internal, and they have some friction as a result.
The movie isn't entirely made up of man muscle either. Kobe Smulders brings some girl power to the film as Secret Agent Maria Hill.
She's kind of like this tough chick, and it's so great to be, there's not a lot of women in these movies, so it's really cool to put a woman in the mix and have her tough and have her stand on her own.
What really gives the movie its superhero strength is its director, and Joss Whedon is the man behind the legendary Avengers team.
I have wanted to work with Joss for a long time, and was making Wonder Woman jokes to him when he was writing that script.
Finding someone to take charge of a superhero dynamic as gigantic as the Avengers is one thing. Getting a villain who can measure up to the team's toughness is a whole other monster.
With each Avenger, I think he faces a different threat, a different strategy, a different methodology, and some pose more of a threat than others.
Fans can look forward to next May when the Avengers finally assemble on the silver screen. Till then, they might want to work on getting some superpowers of their own to brace the Marvel movie madness. Reporting at New York City Comic-Con, this is Brittany Berkowitz.
Actors from the Avengers weren't the only celebrities to appear at this year's Comic-Con. Firefly's Elijah Dushku, Jason Momoa from Conan the Barbarian, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer stars Felicia Day and Claire Kramer made it to Con. The guest booth with the line of most fans was everyone's favorite Jedi, Mark Hamill. Fans definitely had to have the Force to brace the long line leading up to Luke Skywalker himself. So, Jeff, do you know what other celebrity is a huge Star Wars fan?
Actually, no, I don't. Who?
Believe it or not, 30 Rock's Judah Friedlander. Turns out he's a total sucker for sci-fi, action movies, and ninjas.
Apparently, he's also an author, and Brittany Berkowitz caught up with him at Con to talk about his new book.
The title speaks for itself.
How to beat up anybody.
I want to let you know it's instructional and inspirational.
I don't care about you. I just need a meaningless distraction.
It's all based on my stand-up act, but it's all brand new jokes. Stand-up's great. I do it pretty much every night. I teach you how to beat up ninjas.
Oh, yeah?
I teach you karate moves in here that you may not be able to do yourself, such as this. I'm the greatest athlete in the world. I'm a master of the martial arts.
Do you ever pull that on Alec Baldwin or Tina Fey?
No, I'm actually only on 30 Rock for security reasons. I just hung out with Mark Hamill. Obviously. Return of the Jedi? Yeah. He's a 30 Rock fan, it turns out. Fans are great. I think it's busier and better this year. I'm here for fun. Keeping Comic-Con safe. No accidents, no dangers or threat levels. Everything's good.
And what would Comic-Con celebrities be without their loyal fans? Trekkies and techies unite to take over New York City for 4 days. This year's con was completely sold out, and at $65 a pop, you know that's dedication. From gamers to superhero groupies, the Javits Center was packed with people, and these Comic-Con guests always dressed to impress. With all the colorful costumes, one could have mistaken that event for a giant Halloween party.
So it's one thing to look the part at New York City's Comic-Con, but these guests took dressing up to a whole new level.
For more on the costumes of Comic-Con, we go live to Mike Callahan. Mike?
Comic-Con may be looked at as a way for people to get their Halloween costumes ready a few weeks early. This year was the first year Comic-Con and anime conventions were combined, allowing for more costume choices than ever before. But with that said, many convention goers believe that people could have been a little bit more creative with their costumes.
It could be better, a little too much Spider-Man glory for my taste, but, well, it's not for everyone.
This Bumblebee was amazing, had like LED lights on stilts, he was great, it was beautiful.
Bumblebee buzzed around the convention so quickly we weren't able to see him, but thousands of adults, children, and even some pets came dressed to impress and really showed their nerd pride. Many conventions are starting to install masquerades to give as many people the chance to show off their costumes as possible. New York didn't have a masquerade this year, but people took it upon themselves to make sure other convention goers noticed their costumes, and many of them ended up being the reason for pictures.
You know, 5 steps, pictures, 2 steps, pictures, but it's fun. That's why I dressed up like this.
My simplistic Superman costume may not have helped me stick out in a crowd, however, it would have helped me show my pride on my favorite character. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll have more after this. Stay tuned.
You are watching The Awesome Sauce Show.
We welcome you back to The Awesome Sauce Show.
We're here spicing it up with our exclusive Comic-Con coverage, and this year it was packed with video games and comic book releases.
Gamers will want to tune in for this. Max Payne is back for a 3rd installment. Gamers will go several years into the future from Max Payne 2, and Max hasn't had it easy. He's been living in the slums of New York, and players will get to use their joystick as a weapon to shoot down hordes of mafia hitmen. The Comic-Con demo focused in on the 3rd-person shooter technique, where Max is able to pick up 2 guns plus 1 other large weapon. With realistic graphics and an intense narrative, Rockstar Games may be able to say, "3rd time's the charm" from Mr. Payne. This year, Comic-Con gaming was in its prime. Optimus Prime, that is. Hasbro took over with its Transformers Fall of the Cybertron preview. The only backstory to the game that players need to know is that it begins with Autobots being chased out of their once lively planet by the infamous Megatron. Transformers is advanced when it comes to artificial intelligence. Gamers face enemies based on the character they are playing. Enemies and attacks are specifically designed for different characters and boards, making the game almost as smart as the gamer itself.
Batman's back. Arkham City for Xbox 360 brings Gotham City to life. The Batman universe introduces a brand new story featuring classic characters and murderous villains. Players mark the many pros of the game, saying its art design, wealth of content, and gadget options make it a perfect sequel to the 2008 Arkham Asylum. The new game isn't just a player's paradise, it's a work of art. It's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spidey is swinging into your gaming system. The Amazing Spider-Man is a video game based on the latest film adaptation to the beloved comic book. The Spidey reboot starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone comes out this July, and the video game will shortly follow. The game is still in the works, but during its Comic-Con presentation, Marvel said Amazing Spider-Man will be packed with detailed graphics and lots of web-slinging action. These superheroes come to life in both movies and gaming worlds, but they're all originated on paper. For more on the guys whose most powerful tool is their pen, we go live to Megan Camara.
Thanks, guys. We've all seen the superheroes, but let's take a look at the artists who give them their image.
I've done Superman, I've done Wonder Woman, I've just left Ghost Rider. I'm doing an issue of Punisher with another artist, and then I'm going over into the Spider-Man office and doing some Spider-Man stuff.
Matt Clark is one of the featured artists at this year's New York Comic-Con convention. He's drawn dozens of superheroes, putting his own spin on each character.
As an artist, I want to draw a variety of different characters. I've drawn some icons and some lesser-known characters, and they're all fun because there's something about a character that you can find and make your own and really kind of expand on.
Though he's illustrated iconic characters, Clark says there's a female heroine he's been waiting for the opportunity to draw.
I'm a huge Spider-Woman fan. I'm trying to angle and get a Spider-Woman thing.
Alvin Lee is an artist who joined the comic book industry after being inspired by a superhero Clark has drawn for some time.
Actually, the first comic book I ever picked up was Ghost Rider. It was like glow in the dark, and that's what sucked me in. I saw that book and I was like, man, I want to draw comics. And ever since then, I've been drawing.
While Clark pursues drawing Spider-Woman, Lee hopes to make the transition to video game art.
Now from print to plugins, let's turn it over to Lily, who has a story on the new age of comic books.
Going digital is the trend. It started with newspapers, magazines, and then bookstores. Are comic books next in line? Local bookstore owners say, not yet.
People didn't come in every week and pick up new individual comic books. We'd be out of business, we wouldn't be around. But there's plenty of people that do.
These people all grew up with comic characters like Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man, and they still find the time to come by every week and pick up dozens of new issues.
How many I get usually depends on what comes out that week. Some weeks are lighter than others. Like today I spent like $112, so it's probably at least 20 or 30 comics.
Things are organized and you can find them easily. They're very knowledgeable about what they carry, and that's always a good thing to have, and I can always have discussions with them when I'm in here. So, you know, there's a lot of pluses to coming to a store like this.
If you enjoy something, you might as well stick with it.
However, comic publishers are taking steps to attract a new generation of readers. Some have been selling DVDs, and some went straight to Hollywood to get movie-adapted comics.
They're trying to push digital comics, and I just don't like it as much because I like to open the issue. I like to appreciate the art with, you know, my own two hands, feel it. That's how I feel like you should read a book.
But I looked at, like, you know, the iPad. It feels cool.
Digital content hasn't challenged print, but readers always choose what's cheaper. Xiaoxuan Wang, reporting from Boston.
Coming up after the break, we pick the brains of creator and cast of the hit Cartoon Network series Adventure Time.
And Frankie Muniz is back in business. We'll take a look at his new superhero flick that's almost as saucy as this show.
You are watching The Awesome Sauce Show.
We're back with more Comic-Con coverage.
Bringing you the latest in TV news, let's turn to Adult Swim. Conan O'Brien is back for another season. No, it's not his late-night show, but the Adult Swim hit Eagleheart. The cast and crew made it to Cannes to give a sneak peek of its second season. The show stars Chris Elliott as Marshal Chris Monsanto, with his parents Brett and Susie played by Maria Thayer and Brett Gelman. Despite the fact that the show revolves around chief marshals, Chris and company admit to having no idea actually what an actual marshal does. According to live-action cast, we're in for more violence and slapstick humor this season. Hey Kelsey, you know what time it is?
It's Adventure Time, and our top correspondent, Brittany Berkowitz, met up with the masterminds of the hit Cartoon Network animated series.
Where did you come up with the idea for the show?
My childhood, all the cartoons that I watched when I was a little kid, all the TV, it's all just matched together in my brain. No one really understood it. No, it was a hard sell. I don't know how to sum it up. It's like two dudes hanging out in a fantasy world. That doesn't make people want to invest millions of dollars.
You have a lot of great catchphrases.
That was totally mad.
What's your favorite?
Slamacow, actually.
Just trying to replace curse words.
The Ice King is an oxymoron.
I wrote hoops the other day.
They're all awesome, but not as awesome as your hat.
My hat is awesome!
I love the Ice King. He's kind of sad and lonely, and he has a sadness at his core that I find really interesting. And it makes him a fun character to play.
Should I pull a Finn and be like, why are you always stealing ladies?
Yeah. That's the only way I can get him to hang out with me.
He's always getting princess blocked.
Princess!
Has there been a Princess Buttercup yet?
I don't think there
has. That's the new season.
Princess Buttercup, can she look like me?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Have you guys been having fun?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to walk around yet, but as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna spend some money and buy stuff that will make my wife angry.
Yeah, because then it's Comic-Con time!
Cartoon Network and Adult Swim always seem to have the big crowd at Comic-Con. Creator of Robot Chicken Matt Senrick made it to the convention to talk about his stop-motion animated series. The show talks famous faces and iconic characters and puts them in realistic situations, such as Stretch Armstrong requiring a corn syrup transplant after losing his abilities from aging. Senrick and co-creator Seth Green managed to get the series picked up for a 5th and 6th season, premiering this fall. Keeping up with all the cartoon craziness is The Regular Show. The Cartoon Network animated series features two best friends, one being a blue jay and the other being a raccoon, and they try and keep themselves entertained by any means possible. Creator J.G. Quintel made it to Cannes to talk about what's in store for Season 3.
Hey, this is Mordecai from Regular Show.
Rigby here. This is Pops from Regular Show.
It's about two guys, Mordecai and Rigby, a blue jay and a raccoon, who work at a park.
and try to entertain themselves by any means possible.
So it's settled. We're all going camping.
How can I argue with enthusiasm like that?
Cartoon Network was looking for new content, and I had a bunch of characters from shorts that I had done at school at CalArts, and I took a bunch of those characters and put them together, and I called it Regular Show.
What can we expect in this season?
We have a lot more of Mordecai and Richie. Margaret and Eileen are going to start becoming like bigger characters.
Come on, Margaret, it'll be fun.
The first two seasons they were kind of side characters that we'd see like off and on, but I'm excited to kind of like fuse them into the show a little bit more.
You do a lot of different voices. How do you figure out who's going to sound like this and who's going to sound like that?
The drawings, I think, are so different. It gives you such a specific idea of what this voice should be, and they are all so different.
The more the merrier, right?
The material kind of like gets you there, you know, the scripts are very, they're fun.
Who's your favorite character?
Pops.
What's it like playing Rick?
Franny.
What?
He's always high energy, and he's always a lot of fun to do.
We think it's funny, but I don't know if other people are going to think this is funny. We just did the panel, and like everybody in the panel was going, whoa!
That was great. Everybody did it.
I've never been to the New York Comic Con before, so this is like a thing.
The latest Comic-Con craze is female assassins. CW's action-packed drama Nikita isn't just back for a second season, but cast members Maggie Q and Shane West made it to Con to give some behind-the-scenes scoop. Maggie Q, who plays Nikita, expressed excitement over flashbacks in upcoming episodes. She also revealed that Nikita's father will come into play, making for some interesting twists. And after a tantalizing season 1, Michael and Nikita are together at last. The show's producer Albert Kim said the couple will stay together for a while, but that's not to say that they won't have some grown-up issues. Although Buffy the Vampire Slayer made a big splash at Comic-Con, Sarah Michelle Gellar was too tied up with her new CW show Ringer to attend. Buffy comes to TV as Bridget. After witnessing a murder, she goes on the run, assuming the identity of her wealthy twin sister, Siobhan, who conveniently goes missing. But Siobhan's fairy tale life isn't what it seems. The show's full of scandalous affairs and shocking secrets. Just add some vampires and you have the making of a Buffy Part 2.
This action-packed show focuses a little bit more on monster evil than twin sister evil. The cast of Fringe came to Con, and we were there to get an inside look at the Supernatural TV series.
Hi, I'm Lance Reddick. This is Jeff Pinkner.
I'm Jessica Nicole.
This is John Noble from Fringe.
Ultimately, Fringe is a sort of self-contained episodic show. So each episode itself has a beginning, middle, and end, and if you stick with it for the entire time, you'll come to know the whys and wheres and the whos.
The overall arc, which is the pattern.
We love Twilight Zone, and we love Altered States.
Oh God! Tommy, you
What kind of television series could explore things that weren't science fiction per se, more like next generation science fact?
We've spent a lot of time building it up and finding the rhythm for it, and I think that really now we're starting to hit our straps. We're getting stronger and stronger all the time.
My character's in charge of the Fringe Division. He's the leader of a team of Mavericks. They were mistaken. No one's ever seen an animal like this.
The character I play, Walter Bishop, was taken out of a mental asylum because he was a genius. Thrown back together with his estranged son, who Josh plays.
All yours. Liquid brains.
Oh, fantastic.
Peter has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's a guy who has always been able to just sort of pull the ripcord and get out of anything he didn't want to do. And all of a sudden he's confronted with this man who he loves and he hates, who abandoned him and who he wants to know.
It's gonna be a long few days. I've got a poor folks tasked with trying to identify the remains.
Charlie Francis, he's just, calm, cool, under fire, handles things the way they should be handled.
It's just really cool playing a guy who's constantly having to be calm and normalcy to situations that are completely bizarre, almost surreal.
Linguistics major, computer science minor. Plus, I've been taking computers apart since I was like 6. We film out of order, so it's a little bit difficult to try and keep your momentum and your energy, at the same place where it is in the script. For the most part, we read it, we talk about it when we get to set. We talk about where everybody is, and then we film it.
Keep watching. I think it's only going to get bigger and more exciting.
The captain says we should restrain him, but I've
Coming up next, we go from the TV screen to the silver screen.
Don't touch that remote. News and movies is next.
You are watching The Awesome Sauce Show.
back to the Awesome Sauce Show.
We're closing our special Comic-Con show with the latest blockbusters. It's all for one and one for all this week. The Three Musketeers made it to movie theaters. Based on the beloved book, the hot-headed D'Artagnan joins the legendary Musketeers to take down a vixen of a villain along with her employer and stop them from seizing the French throne and causing chaos in Europe. The film, shot entirely in 3D, stars Matthew Macfadyen, Milla Jovovich, and Logan Lerman. This flick did frighteningly well at the box office. Paranormal Activity 3 shows us where the activity began. It's a prequel that goes back to the beginning of the franchise and gives us the background of the sisters featured in the first two films. As the girls deal with a ghostly presence in their house, audiences are sure to stay on the edge of their seats.
If Battleship can be turned into a movie, I guess Rock'em Sock'em Robots gets one too. Real Steel stars Hugh Jackman as a worn-out former boxer trying to make a buck controlling robots to box. Jackman's 11-year-old son has some fight in him as well when he assembles a robot of his own out of junkyard scraps. The movie then takes a turn to show some father-son bonding as the two transform their fighting robot into a champion. Tim Burton and Johnny Depp are at it again. The ABC vampire soap opera Dark Shadows is about to get a Tim Burton makeover. The film stars Johnny Depp as the cult classic vampire Barnabas Collins. After being turned into a vampire, Barnabas awakes 2 centuries later to a world completely strange to him. To be fair, this is a Tim Burton movie, so it will probably be equally as strange to us too. The film features other Burton favorites like Helena Bonham Carter and Michelle Pfeiffer. Dark Shadows is set to hit theaters this March.
Another actor who's practically come back to life is Frankie Muniz.
We haven't seen him on the big screen in a while, but he's making a comeback as a pizza man.
Frankie Muniz and director Joe Eckert made it to Cannes to deliver some of the details on the superhero flick.
Pizza Man, Pizza Parlor. You can't beat our super prices.
Pizza Man, it's a family superhero film for kids.
The movie was a ton of fun.
Frankie Muniz is our lead, plays Matt Byrne.
I play a kid who works at my mom's pizza parlor. As punishment, I have to dress up as Pizza Man in the Pizza Man superhero costume.
You want to make up for it, you know what you have to do.
No.
Yeah.
Please, anything but that.
Inadvertently, at being the pizza delivery boy becomes a superhero, delivering a pizza at the wrong place.
Going to deliver pizza at a science lab, and bad guys are coming to take steal the secret serum, and I get shot, I'm dying, but I get the secret serum injected into me, and I become invincible.
To tell us that tomatoes can save the world.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
We filmed it, pretty quickly, so a lot of long hours and stuff. But I made so many awesome friends with the cast.
Corbin Bernsen, Shelley Long, David H. Lawrence, Stan Lee, Adam West. Watching all their stuff growing up, obviously it shaped what I see as, a superhero movie and what I think it should look like.
I definitely am the coolest superhero title ever.
I'm Power Man.
Power Man? That's Pizza Man.
Next to Batman.
Yeah, the bats are weak. Pizza is. I'm not like super cool where I can go into a phone booth, a clear phone booth, and change in a second, right? There's a phone booth and there's a porta potty. I choose the porta potty.
A minute in there.
Pizza Man was kind of perfect timing for, for me to go, you know what? I miss it and I want it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
So who would win in a fight, Pizza Man or Agent Cody Banks?
Oh man, Pizza Man, he physically with the power can't get hurt. I don't know. He kind of wins.
So Pizza Man,
they both get the girl in the end, so they're both pretty cool.
Well, that wraps up our Awesome Sauce Comic-Con coverage.
For more on all the things unpopular culture, check us out online.
Thanks for speaking geek with us, and we'll see you next time.